I like to do it all on his back, where we can kind of get in and put a little bit of pressure through that capsule. And then the nice thing about this is when he's on his back, we can control his arm at the same time. So I know a lot of you guys are having difficulty controlling a body part and using the tool at the same time. But with this one, we can easily get in and again do a little bit of pinning and stretching at the beginning, and then we can kind of start working in. And this is, with the shoulder, is kind of cool because this is where we can really start feeling a lot of tension when we move the arm in different directions. That's what we really want to be looking for, is those lines of tension. There's nothing set in stone as far as like where we are going to have his arm positioned. We're not that strict. What we want you to be able to do is find those restrictions with the tool, those adhesions, and then find the real lines of tension when you're using it. I'm going to get you to roll onto your side and face that way. The anterior shoulders, nothing crazy, nothing special. Here we can kind of treat all those posterior muscles through like the rotator cuff and everything like that. We already kind of treated everything through this side. The only thing we kind of skipped was rhomboid, but rhomboid is pretty basic as far as like what we did before. We can kind of come along that same line. So this is going to be somewhat similar to the way that we kind of treated the lats and stuff. As I said, when some of you guys were treating the lats a little bit too medially. As we get through in here, we can start treating all your stuff, your infraspinatus, your subscap, your teres minor, your teres major, all that kind of stuff is going to run through this area here. And again, I'm not going to set in stone how you're going to find that tension in the arm, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of feel around through these guys in here. And always when we get right into this area, Jacob can probably tell you it feels pretty gnarly right through there. And we can just kind of take him through that range of motion. And even if we want to pull him straight across, because I feel a bit more tension going this way. So that's where I'm going to kind of treat it through. Good. So that's how we're going to kind of treat those like scapular muscles that are attaching from the scap into the shoulder. We can also get into, with this position, we can also get into this posterior delt and everything down the tricep very nicely, right? So if we want to kind of lengthen that tricep a little bit, we can just have them open up that arm and we're going to treat down the tricep. As well as with that posterior delt, we can find a little bit more restriction where we're coming through with it kind of in front of a little bit, put a little bit more tension on that deltoid. Okay? When we're really getting in, like we were talking about a little bit of adhesive capsulitis, frozen shoulder kind of stuff, if we really want to focus on getting into that posterior capsule of the shoulder, we can really start digging in there with this direction here. So we're going to have him just kind of relax that arm over him a little bit, and this is going to open up everything in there, right? And I can really focus a lot of my energy kind of getting in through there. And this is going to break up a lot of that scar tissue that's built up in the capsule and all the muscles that kind of run in this direction here. Along with treating everything in here, we can also start treating supraspinatus on the top, kind of the same way that we treated the traps. We can either go towards the midline or away from the midline. It's not too big of a deal. So we can kind of come up and treat through, really scoop through that supraspinatus. Good. But posterior capsule is going to be huge in a lot of people. It's going to be tight, and that's what a lot of mobilizations are going to do out in the gym as well. They're focused on that posterior capsule. And you can tell you, once they start getting a little bit deeper in there, probably doesn't feel too great. And there's some real nice areas in through here. The cool thing is that when you find those real restricted tissues that have a lot of scar tissue built up in them, coming from here, you can almost trace the muscle, and those are the muscles that are going to become a little bit brighter red, and don't really bring them out, but we can really feel some. I think me and Jacob discussed that he's had a little bit of subscap stuff before, and especially with the way his shoulders are kind of rounded forward, there's definitely going to be some issues going on through there. So subscap's a little bit different. We're going to get him back onto his back and facing me. So kind of the same way that we did.
Sideline?
No, just like that. Perfect. So subscap's obviously nobody's favorite muscle to get treated on themselves. Again, we're going to kind of pull a little bit of a double-handed maneuver here. So if you're more comfortable when you're practicing with your dominant hand, you can try it on the other side. But we can kind of get ourselves right into that subscap there. And then we can kind of move him through that range of motion. Okay, so we're just pinning a little bit there. Okay, and if we really want to get in there a little bit more, so that's a little bit awkward sometimes, we can kind of get a little pressure through this guy here. Good. And then we're going to get right into that subscap. Relax for me. And we're going to really get deep in there. And it's a tough guy to get to, but it is very, very important as well, because it's going to be a big issue with a lot of people. Good. I'll save that for your partner to get into a little bit too. Okay? That all make sense, guys?
Yeah.
As far as when we're treating kind of down into the elbow, we're going to, again, the basic kind of stuff we did before. So, stuff I was showing you was just kind of the more advanced stuff. Treating down in through that, for that lateral epicondylitis, we can kind of just treat around that area. You're going to find a lot of stuff in that area. That's kind of issue we had you working on the first day, is where we're going to find a lot of gnarly bits in there on everybody. So it's a good place to kind of show patients what it feels like on that area. So you can go to town on that. You're going to find a lot of spots that you can kind of really sink into. Now that you have better control of the tool, you can probably get in there a little bit deeper than we did yesterday. Cool? Okay. Alright, partner up, guys, and